The Chinese Central Military Commission Political Work Conference took place in Yan'an, Shanxi, from June 17th to 19th. Xi Jinping, the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, President of China, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, attended the meeting and delivered an important speech. At the meeting, Xi Jinping emphasized the need to implement the new era's political-military strategy, ensuring strong political support for the military. According to a leaked internal speech from the conference, Xi Jinping said, "We are here in Yan'an to hold a military meeting preparing for a civil war, and the war has started, and if we do not respond with war, our party and government will go bankrupt." His words caused tension and fear among the officers present. While these statements were meant to intimidate military leaders, they also revealed Xi's deep sense of anxiety. Despite a 2017 directive from the Central Military Commission demanding absolute loyalty to Xi, the military's top ranks might not have fully complied. There is a notable split between those loyal to Xi and those resisting his authority. Facing internal crises and growing domestic unrest, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is at a critical juncture, the most dire in its 70-year rule. Xi realizes that survival now depends on military action rather than the traditional methods of control. For Xi Jinping, taking full control of the military is urgent. He fears that regional military forces might clash with the central government before any conflict with Taiwan begins, leading to nationwide chaos. Signs of this potential conflict are becoming apparent. 10 days after Xi's speech at the military conference on June 27th, the CCP's Politburo announced the expulsion of former defense ministers Li Shangfu and Feng Weihe from the party and handed them over to military prosecutors. Both were stripped of their military ranks and titles. This is the first time in CCP history that two former defense ministers were expelled from the party on the same day. Many believe that, although Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe will likely be convicted of corruption and imprisoned for life, their actual downfall was due to Xi's perception of their disloyalty. Ironically, both were appointed by Xi Jinping and were considered his trusted aides. On November 23, 2012, just 1 week after becoming the chairman of the Central Military Commission, Xi Jinping promoted Wei Fenghe, then a member of the Military Commission and commander of the 2nd Artillery Corps. Wei was promoted to the rank of general. Wei was Xi Jinping's first promoted general. In December 2015, Wei became the first commander of the newly formed Rocket Force. In March 2018, Xi appointed Wei as state councillor and defense minister, elevating him to a vice-national level until he was investigated on September 21, 2023. Li Shangfu, who succeeded Wei Fenghe as defense minister and state councillor, was also personally promoted by Xi Jinping to the ranks of lieutenant general and general. However, Li was investigated and fell from power just 5 months into his term, making him the shortest-serving defense minister in the history of the CCP. Wang Juntao is a Chinese political observer based in the U.S. and holds a Ph.D. in political science from Columbia University. He commented that Xi Jinping demands high loyalty to establish his dictatorship. The closer someone is to him, the stricter his loyalty requirements, following the saying, "Being close to the emperor is like being near a tiger." Wang said Xi Jinping knew from the start that he had no real skills or achievements. He relies on the fear and absolute obedience of those beneath him to maintain his rule. After Xi Jinping became the chairman of the Central Military Commission, the Chinese military publicly declared following Chairman Xi's command. However, observers noted that the accusations against Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe for seriously violating political discipline and resisting organizational scrutiny reflect strong resistance and obvious disobedience among senior military officials towards Xi Jinping. According to public sources, since Xi Jinping assumed the role of the chairman of the Central Military Commission on November 2012, at least 91 senior military officers of the deputy army level or above have fallen, including 13 generals and 19 lieutenant generals. During tenure, he promoted 77 generals, of which 4 have fallen, and 259 lieutenant generals, of which 11 have fallen. There is a clear list online, and netizens jokingly say that these imprisoned generals could form a battalion. The fallen generals include those promoted twice during Xi Jinping's tenure. Besides Li Shangfu, others promoted to lieutenant general and general during Xi's time include former Air Force Commander Ding Laihang and former Rocket Force Commander Zhou Yaning. Additionally, some were promoted twice during Xi's chairmanship, from Major General to Lieutenant General, including former Deputy Commander of the Central Theater Command, Li Zhizhong, and former Navy commander of the Southern Theater Command, Zhu Xinchun. One of the founders of the CCP, Mao Zedong, once said, "Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun," and he emphasized the principle that the party commands the gun and the gun must never be allowed to command the party. After the CCP gained power through armed force, it maintained that the military should be a tool for preserving its regime, opposing the nationalization of the military. This principle has been upheld by every CCP leader from Mao Zedong to Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, who currently holds immense power, is widely seen as ambitious but incapable of governing. He has no military experience, lacks prestige within the military, and has no strong connection in the armed forces. To assert his authority and give his trusted allies a chance to rise to senior military positions, Xi launched a severe anti-corruption campaign targeting high-ranking military officials shortly after taking office. This campaign led to the downfall of several powerful generals, including Xu Caiho, Guo Boxiong, Zhang Yang, and Fang Fenghui. Xu Caiho and Guo Boxiong were both generals and former vice-chairmen of the Central Military Commission. They were key allies of former CCP leader Jiang Zemin. Both were ultimately sentenced to life imprisonment for corruption and bribery. Guo Boxiong, now 82, is still in prison, while Xu Caiho died of illness shortly after his conviction at the age of 71. In today's China, corruption is pervasive, and the military, which has not faced the trials of war and lives off the state's resources, is a major hotspot for corruption. The generals who end up in prison are ostensibly charged with corruption, but the underlying issue is often a lack of loyalty to Xi. Carl Schuster, former director of operations in the Joint Intelligence Center of the U.S. Pacific Command, told Voice of America that for Xi Jinping, anti-corruption is a tool rather than an absolute principle. Schuster said, "In China, there are two things to remember. Be careful about how corrupt you are and who you corrupt. The other thing is to be careful about what you say and do, but the most important thing is your enthusiasm for Xi Jinping's leadership. If you're not completely loyal to him, then corruption is important and he will find a way to get rid of you." As a dictator, Xi Jinping's political purges to secure absolute loyalty have historical roots. Xi is following in the footsteps of Stalin. During Stalin's reign in the Soviet Union, he launched a comprehensive purge in 1937 to eliminate all potential opposition and security threats within the military. The Great Purge nearly wiped out the officer ranks of the Soviet Red Army, with over 40,000 military officers and political commissars purged, including 15,000 who were executed. Among those executed were 3 out of the 5 marshals, 3 out of the 4 first-rank Army Group commanders, with Shaposhnikov surviving and later becoming a marshal. Also executed were all 12 second-rank Army Group commanders, 60 of the 67 Corps commanders, 136 of the 199 division commanders, and 222 of the 397 brigade commanders. The Great Purge severely weakened the Soviet Army, leading to a disastrous performance in the Soviet-Finnish War of 1939. It took the Red Army, despite its 900,000 troops, 4 months to force Finland, a country with a population of 3 million, to a ceasefire. Soviet casualties amounted to 500,000. This also emboldened Nazi Germany's military ambitions. Xi Jinping has been simultaneously purging high-ranking officials in the party, government, and military, while promoting his loyalists. However, due to his lack of charisma and competence, his efforts often backfire. In modern military confrontations, strategic ballistic missiles are a key indicator of military strength. After coming to power, Xi Jinping aimed to control and develop China's supreme military capabilities. Drawing from the Soviet experience, he established the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force in 2015. The main weapons of the Rocket Force include strategic ballistic missiles, equipped with nuclear warheads and conventional warhead ballistic and cruise missiles, covering a range of short, medium, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, as well as long-range cruise missiles. Despite efforts over 10 years, the senior ranks of the Rocket Force have not fully submitted to his authority. From the second half of 2023, feeling a loyalty crisis, Xi launched a major purge within the military, including the Rocket Force. Within months, at least 15 high-ranking military officers and officials were purged. Many of those detained had served in the Rocket Force, including former commanders Li Yuchao and Zhou Yaning, former Chief of Staff and Deputy Commander Li Chuangang, former Equipment Department Director Liu Hong, and former Deputy Commander Zhang Zhenzhong, who later became the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Central Military Commission's Joint Staff Department. Other purged officials include former Air Force Commander Ding Laihang, former South China Sea Fleet Equipment Department Director, and Southern Theater Command Deputy Director and Navy Commander Ju Xingchun, as well as former National Defense University President and Central Military Commission Equipment Development Department Deputy Minister Zhang Yulin. Xi Jinping is regarded as the most powerful leader of the CCP since Mao Zedong. He has declared his ambition to transform the PLA into a world-class modern military by 2027, injecting billions of dollars in the military over the years to catch up with the United States in high-tech capabilities. Xi Jinping's core strategy for strengthening the military is to enhance the combat capabilities of the rocket force, which is crucial for his ambition to forcibly unify Taiwan. However, the rocket force has recently been embroiled in widespread corruption scandals, leading to a sweeping purge and replacement of its leadership. This has raised doubts about the Chinese military's ability to engage in warfare. Former PLA Navy staff officer Yao Cheng revealed that in 2017, Xi Jinping stated, "Even if we cannot win, we must fight," referring to Taiwan. Yao Cheng commented that this statement offended the military, causing strong opposition. He quoted some military personnel saying, "If we can't win, we'll end up in the sea. It's a pointless sacrifice. Why should we fight? Why don't you go fight yourself?" Analysts believe that while the Chinese Foreign Ministry engages in its aggressive wolf warrior diplomacy, the Defense Ministry remains relatively subdued, aware of its actual capabilities. Within the military, there is significant opposition to Xi Jinping's dream of attacking Taiwan. With his seemingly limitless cooperation with Putin, Xi's choice of confidants appears to be shifting. At the end of 2023, Dong Jun, an experienced naval commander in the South China Sea, was appointed as defense minister, filling the months-long vacancy left by Li Shangfu's unexplained disappearance. Analysts suggest that Xi's appointment of a naval officer as defense minister for the first time indicates Dong Jun's experience in the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait. This will help Xi manage the maritime tensions with the United States. Some analysts also believe that Xi is favoring officers who trained in Russia, known as the Russian-trained faction. Jun, fluent in Russian, can communicate directly with the Russian defense minister without an interpreter. Xi had arranged for Dong Jun to train at Russia's military institution, the General Staff Academy. This choice aligns with Xi's strategy of attacking Taiwan and allying with Russia. Other senior officers with Russian training include current Central Military Commission Mobilization Department Minister Liu Faqing, Southern Theater Command Navy Deputy Chief of Staff Li Xiaoyan, and Northern Theater Command Navy Deputy Commander Bai Yaoping. However, the Russian-trained faction has been heavily influenced by the former Soviet Communist Party. They lack combat experience and are more loyal to the party than the native faction. Analysts believe that these Russian-trained officers do not understand Western military strategies, and their loyalty to Xi Jinping is mainly to ensure their safety. They are unlikely to succeed in a conflict with Western countries. Rumors have been circulating about the uncertain future of Zhang Youxia, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. He may face a similar fate to Wei Fenghe and Li Shangfu. The military senior ranks have long been dominated by the native faction, particularly those who participated in the Vietnam War and consider themselves the real combat veterans, with Zhang Youxia as their leader. Recently, a message on X claimed that Deputy Commander of the Army, Lieutenant General Deng Zhihua, was taken away by the Military Commission's Discipline Inspection Commission upon returning from a meeting in Nanjing. His 2 residences in Beijing were searched overnight. On the same day, Eastern Theater Command Navy Deputy Political Commissar Major General He Yuehua and Xichang Satellite Launch Center Commander Major General Deng Hongqin were also detained. The message claims these events are true. There is no official news yet about Deng Zhihua's detention. Deng participated in the battle to recapture Laoshan in the reconnaissance unit and was awarded second-class merit. He was promoted to lieutenant general in March 2021. The CCP's third plenary session, which should have been held last fall, was delayed until July 15th this year, indicating significant internal disagreements among the top leadership. Xi Jinping likely needed considerable time to manage these senior leaders. Facing international encirclement and domestic turmoil, the CCP is struggling to overcome significant challenges. The lack of consensus on loyalty within the military leaves Xi Jinping sleepless. Preparing for civil war might be a genuine concern for Xi. To maintain his dictatorship, Xi will not stop purging the military. Consequently, the CCP currently lacks the capability to attack Taiwan or go to war with the United States.